What an image, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. I'm a bit of a fan of it myself, if I say so. But
Oh,
look,
God. The amount of times Nelson's given himself a rap for anything he's produced on this podcast. Honestly, it's more
Cargie
times
just
than he
gave it
has
to me.
caps. I can say that much. But, boys,
Cargie just
look,
gave it to me.
the Wallabies 15 that we've put together. Nels, why don't you do the honors since you put together this? How would you describe this image?
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay. Take us through it.
Look. I like. We'll do what we normally do. Craigs can go type 5. I'll go next 5. Harry, you can go back 5.
Sounds good to me. The most important, the men up front with the number 1, 2, and 3 on their back. Slipper, co-captain Dave Parecki and Alan Alatoa. That is a formidable front row, and that offers a lot of leadership with the co-captain, captain of the Brumbies. It's a lot of Test experience there. And Parecki's by far and out our best hooker. And then in the locks, Richie Arnold and Will Skelton is what we've gone for after the balance of powers. Skelton was was bloody inked in stone or whatever. It was for certain. And then Richie Arnold is who we've opted for over Nick Frost. Give or take Richie Arnold, Nick Frost, but we've gone with Richie Arnold.
Yeah, look, I think you could definitely see Frost get a crack there as well. Arnold playing overseas, having that experience, maybe not on the international level, but playing across the world and playing a lot of footy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him get the nod. And I don't think Eddie is afraid to shake things up. So to bring in 2 very enormous, experienced locks would be a very Eddie move, I reckon.
I just love that we've all agreed before the pod that Richie Arnold will probably be in the 4 jersey, even though none of us have actually seen him play. Like, the bloke's been playing overseas with the Blues, and we're all just convinced from a couple of words that he said and the fact that he's just spiting the hell out of Richie's twin brother that he's going to end up starting in the 4 jersey against Frost, who has been an absolute standout.
Such is our faith in Eddie, mate.
Blind faith.
But he also, like, they built their defensive structures and everything at Toulouse around him. Like, he has been very, very big for them, not just in height. And I think Frost is a guy that is a perfect impact lock because not only is he big, he's a good scrummager and things like that as well. He is very mobile. He is very quick. So I think if you had to pick between 2 of them, who's the guy to come off the bench?
He's not very quick. Come on.
The Richie Arnold myth and legend
Frost,
grows
Harry.
day by day,
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I thought you were saying Richie's very quick. My bad, mate.
No, I said Frost is the better man to come off the bench because he's quick. He's the impact.
Right. My apologies.
Arnold is not that player. He's older. And he's not Frost is a unique specimen to be the speed he is and running in space. So that's something that I think suits, the impact off the bench.
Is Richie the younger twin? Because that might explain it. Maybe they're thinking he's just got the extra.
Look, we've all joked about it. But surely Eddie's got Rory sitting in the change rooms and he's going to go, maybe you should change jerseys.
They don't look as similar anymore, mate. I saw a photo of them the other day. They've diverted away from each other. Apparently, the harsh realities of building toy trucks really, really wears someone's facial features down. Rory's aged terribly because of it. Boys.
Well, I think, sorry, the last point on that I was going to say is just that he's a bigger body as well. He's almost 130 kilos. So you put that together with Will Skelton in that locking department. And, I think it has often been said that sometimes we've been undermatched for power and size, but this pack that Nelson's going to round out the back row for, that won't be the case. This is a big pack to match the power.
Huge, mate. Let's jump across into the back row. Look, we've given it to Holloway, experience and another good season for the Waratahs. The name that could slot himself in there, there's plenty of names, but the one that we would have mentioned in the past is Tom Hooper. I don't know if you can have 2 Hoopers in the starting side. That seems a bit insane. But Tom Hooper could find himself getting a crack in that 6 jersey as well because of his work rate and his versatility. And he's another lock/back rower. But we've gone Holloway. Hooper at 7. Again, he's got pressure from Mick Wright there. I think the fact that he's got co-captaincy means probably we see him get a crack. But I wouldn't be overly surprised if we see Mick Wright get a crack. I think he does deserve it. And Valentini, there is no one coming for this man's jersey. Valentini is number 8. We've also got...
I find it so surprising that so many people have dropped Hooper from the side. Now, we've been pretty vocal on the podcast that we would pick Fraser McWright.
No.
Michael Hooper.
You and Nelson would pick him. I'm picking Hooper.
All right, good on you. But the point is, he's the co-captain, mate. Like, he's playing every game. I'm sorry, Fraser McWright, but he's playing every game. Fraser McWright's going to play Samoa or Fiji or whoever it is in our pool that's ranked lower, and that's it. Yeah. And Jed Holloway, also in the leadership team, mate. Tom Hooper is not starting above him in our first choice side. If he does start above him this test, it's only because he's getting an opportunity, and that's it.
It's a very rare player that the youngster comes in and usurps the incumbent, and particularly when you've got a leader of with so much experience and so many years. I mean, Michael Hooper's the most capped Wallabies captain. Fraser McWright is in the Wallabies squad and will be going to this World Cup as the backup if Michael Hooper gets injured. That's his role in the Cup. And similarly for Tom Hooper. Tom Hooper, he's just a similar mold to Jed Holloway. It's like, great, if Jed Holloway goes down, Tommy Hooper could get straight in there.
He's a lot bigger though. But I just think it's funny that if Hooper goes down, our team might get even better.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. Look, I think the thing is, knowing Hooper, we all expect that he'll just step up in this environment. He's done it again and again and again. So that's the thing about Hooper, and he'll get that chance. And I mean, he's surely going to be training the house down and leading the way. So that in himself, you'd assume gets him a start, and as he deserves it. But I wouldn't be surprised if in this rugby chance we do see Mick Wright get a start in a 7 jersey.
And look, I don't know whether or not he did go over on tour or not, but just a player who I've just gotten re-excited about, but there's been absolutely no chat about for the number 6, was Bobby Leota. I'm just remembering about how good he has been the few times he's had a chance in the Wallabies jersey.
He's been out too long. He has been out too long,
which
is
why
he's played like two good games at the end of last year after being trash at that level for his entire career.
And I'll
tell you what, there are good 2 games, Dougie.
But all I need is 2 good games, and I'm in. I'm on them.
If you're a big unit, mate, you don't have to even play, and you're 100% on them to start. Boys, let's go to the back line.
So we got Nick White. We've all agreed on that as the number 9, and then the general, the leader, the man that's going to lead us to Rugby Championship glory and then World Cup glory, Quade Cooper.
Smash and grab captain.
That's it. The smash and grab.
I like it. Centers. Samu Karevi has flown over, apparently fit. So I really hope he is fit because I think we need him.
I'm looking forward to watching him play. I can't wait to watch Karevi back in the gold jersey.
Him and Quade together. That's all we need.
Oh, I love that.
It's not all we need, but it's very helpful.
Mate, it's all we want.
Lenny Katau, obviously outside centre. I don't think anyone's coming for that jersey for a long time. He is the Wallabies' answer to Lucanio Am, the exceptional South African outside centre, and he'll be our outside centre for years to come, I would think. On the wings, we've got Marika Korenbekti and Mark Nwanganitawasi. And at fullback, we have Tom Wright, despite a couple of challenging finals games. Cargie, clearly not a fan. Cargie, obviously Kellaway is the other option and he is injured. So who would you put at fullback?
Oh, well, I was just going to say Kellaway, but
he's injured.
He's injured. He's still in Australia.
In that case, Jordan Pataya. Wait, he's still injured.
Also still in Australia. Pick a healthy player.
You could pick Donaldson or you could pick Hodge.
Reece Hodge, stick him in there.
Look, I mean, Eddie's a special coach, and he does things a little differently. And he might look at this and go, "We need that kick. We're going to be kicking. We're going to be scrumming well and doing our set piece as well." And maybe he does think that Hodge is the man to do the job. And if that's the case, I think it means Tom Wright goes to right wing, and Mark Nwanganitawasi probably drops out of the starting side at the least.
Well, look, let's just really mix it up. Marky Mark to fullback, and then just chuck Vunivalu in there on the right wing.
I was going to say, mate, if we're picking Eddie's team, Vunivalu's starting, isn't he?
Yeah, there we go.
Let's stop snorting coke and making up just random shit that's never going to happen, Cags. we know Eddie. We know Eddie wants to get Vunivalu firing, and maybe it means he gets a crack, but we're never going to see Marky Mark at fullback for him. But look, I think realistically, there is potential that we do see something there that we're not expecting in those back three. Corey Beattie is the man that is locked in without a doubt. I don't think Marky Mark has really definitely locked himself in this season. I think if you had to pick on a right wing between him or Tom Wright, it probably is Tom Wright, who's offering a bit more in some versatility. But realistically, I think Reece Hodge is your 23 jersey. The guy can play 10 to 15. And Eddie might carry two backs. Who knows? I'm sure he's probably got him passing off the scrum and trying to see if he can play 9 as well. But
Didn't Eddie joke on that on the Raw Rugby podcast? He goes, mate, I'm going a 7-1 bench, mate. Hodgie in the 23 jersey, 7 forwards. Let's do it.
In all honesty, if he had Giddo, he probably would do that. I think at the moment,
if Giddo was still available, true.
Yeah, what about what can we take away from what Eddie has said in all these media appearances about how he wants to play the game and the side that we've got, and maybe if it stacks up, the one of the big ones for me is that he said Australia needs a way of playing. We haven't been physical enough. We need to be able to smash down the front door, but we also need to get back around the outside if we can't get through the front door. And Cargie's favourite line of Eddie's short coaching tenure has already been stated. If we had 15 common doors, we'd be going through the front door every single time. But obviously that's not an option. The team that we've picked, is there enough ability to get around the outside and around the back door?
Yeah, I think there is. I think we have the back line there that can be, coming through the centres with hard lines off Karevi, Tommy Wright slotting in and finding gaps and spaces. Corin Beattie pick and driving himself.
So this is all the front door though, mate. Where's the back door? I'm asking. I'm saying there's plenty of front door.
If you actually hear out a sentence, you might actually find the context of what I'm saying. We have that ability to do all that, but then we also have the ability out wide. We've got so many players that are threats in tight, as I was talking through, smashing through that front door. So the defensive line has to be aware of them, and that's going to create some space out wide. But if we listen to Eddie says, the possession game is dead, and I agree with him. And that I think it was something like 70 odd percent
75%
of tries. Yeah, scored within 3 phases. So he's not going to take 10 attempts to knock through the front door and then fling it wide. That's not what Eddie's doing. Eddie's going 1-2 crossfield kick, 1-2, second play out the back and get it to a wing. We're going to see maybe the ability of a Vunivalu or Nwanga Nidawasi getting crossfield kicks. There's potentially going to be an NRL flavour here, and he's trying to mix things up and do things a little bit differently. And Australian rugby has the NRL behind it, has some changes there that's different to the rest of the world. And I wouldn't be overly surprised if we see, crossfield kicks brought in a little bit more, or other things along those lines, going, well, we don't have unlimited tackles. What's the point of doing 10, 12, 13? If we're going to do a few and then we need to find a way over, maybe we take our chance with the crossfield kick, because maybe if we have those guys out wide, it's as high a chance as, trying to bang through that front door for so many phases. Doesn't tend to happen.
I think, Harry, in answering your question, that we've got some fantastic strategic kickers in Nick White and Quade Cooper, two very seasoned players who are really good at reading the game and seeing the space that's available. It's a little bit concerning with, I'd say, our back three, like the back three we've named here, of a more questionable kicking ability. Korobedi is a string that he's added to his bow, in recent years, but I'm not sure how much kicking he's been doing in Japan. And then, Tom Wright and Marky Mark, not particularly known for their kicking games. If you do throw someone like a Reece Hodge or a Kellaway back there, lifts my confidence levels. But I think it's going to come down a lot to Quade's strategic kicking. And I think a change to the game that Quade will have been loving will have been the 50-22 rules. You know what I mean? I think he will love the way that will open up space. And so not only the kicking, but the result of that, of the opposing team having to defend further back, just means that there's space available, and Quade can put the ball anywhere out in front of someone. So, yeah, I do think we can work our way around and not only smash down the front door.
It sounds like we're playing very Rassie Erasmus 2019, doesn't it? Like, you get up the ad line and set yourself up for a try in the first 3 phases. Otherwise, you go for a contestable, basically. That's what I'm reading into it. And he just wants people that are very good in the air. So Nwanga Nidawasi, Vunivalu are going to be extra useful to them. Tom Wright for the pace, Corin Betty for absolutely everything. So, I think it's the writing's on the wall that's how we're going to play.
That was going to be my last question. I was just going to say was obviously Corin Betty's he's been crushing it over there in Japan, but not having got to watch him week in week out, and it's been a year since tests. Is he still your first picked player in the Wallabies team? Yeah, I'm getting big nods from both the boys.
Mate, he's outperformed Michael Hooper, and you keep picking Michael Hooper, so I'm definitely picking Corin Betty.
Yeah, there's no way you're not picking him.
He's my first pick on team sheet every week. Corin Betty is, but I was just saying.
I thought you said Richie Arnold for a second.
Or Skelton's my number 2, mate. There you go.
I think we've also got, Eddie's going to pick forwards that do their core skills, win their scrums, win their lineouts. But you look at the likes of Skelton, he's going to want to have guys that can be battering rams, your Valentinis, things like that as well. And I mean, Tupou fits that mold when he comes back in. They're going to be able to create spaces. If you're going to score and create opportunities in 3 phases, it's not about repetition. It's about actually having threats at every moment that could get their ball in hand and create something, including your forwards. And Skelton, Tupou, Valentini, they're the guys that can do that. So I can't wait to see it.
I have to say, I've said it probably too many times on this podcast, but my favourite bit of Wallabies rugby I've watched the last few years has always been Skelton and Tupou both coming off the bench and just watching them take turns, hit it up, and just decimate anyone they're playing. And if you add Valentini into that, because I think at that time Harry Wilson was playing at 8, and don't get me wrong, Harry Wilson can certainly run the ball up, but can you imagine being a team having to face Tupou, Skelton, and Valentini taking turns running the ball? You need to commit 2 defenders minimum to that every single time, and you still know you're going to lose ad line.
Unless you're South Africa.
I can't wait.
Just as big. Guys, look, the other 2 questions I have for you. Number 1, we've got 5 internationals in this team, and legally at the moment in Rugby Australia's policies, we are allowed 3. So does that mean that we'll just assume that Eddie's getting his way and we can pick as many as we want?
No, we're not assuming. Eddie's been told he's getting his way.
Is he?
They've said the whole way. They go, whatever Eddie wants, Eddie will get. And then when Eddie's asked, he goes, I need to look at it and decide what's best. But they've come out and said, whatever Eddie wants, Eddie gets. If he thinks they need more, and that's what they're getting.
Look, Michael Checker tried to get his own way, and unfortunately, in the last couple of years of his coaching tenure, didn't. And he kind of had didn't get his own way with management. But Eddie Jones would have stipulated in his contract, what I say goes, mate. You know what I mean? He'd have it.
There's no question. Yeah. And I don't think this will be set in stone. I think this will be what's needed for the World Cup, smash and grab. He's sold that to the staff at Rugby Australia, going, this is a smash and grab. Let me do whatever I want, and then we can decide moving forward in 2024 what we're going to do.
Now, what he would have said is that smash and grab, the smashing applies to your rules and regulations, and the grabbing applies to any resources I need to make this happen. That's smash and grab all throughout, mate.
And last question, boys. Do we play the Springboks A team, B team, or a mix of both?
Mate, we play the Springboks B team, and it's disrespectful. And for that, I hope we win for the first time over there. It's been touted, it's been put up on what they think the Springboks backline is. There's a few articles, there's a few people talking about it, but it's saying Reinach at 9, Libok at 10, Esterhuizen and Am at 12, 13, Moody. Who have we got at 14?
Ali Aronsa.
Aronsa, yeah.
Yeah, and then LaRue at 15.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, to be honest, I don't think that's that bad a backline.
It's not bad, mate. It's just not their 18.
It's not. But yeah, I mean, that's the approach that the South Africans are going to take, and I still think it can be an incredibly difficult place to win a game.
Oh, mate, of course it is. We've never won there. That's probably a hint that it's not that easy. But look, I think one of the things is Eddie is going to try to go, boys. This is a year we create history. This is a year we do things that no one can believe. And it starts here, breaking this hoodoo for the Wallabies over in Loftus. And, I mean, the Springboks, no doubt, have come out, in the past saying we're going to keep our best side at home and we're going to send our B team away. This year, they have decided that is not what they're doing, by all reports. So Eddie is selling this to the boys that this is absolute disrespect to you guys. If you can't turn up and put on a show day one in the rugby champs when we've got a small time to the World Cup, when people are disrespecting you like this, how are we going to be able to do anything this year? So the Wallabies are going to come raging.
Can I give you a hot take here? I actually reckon that Eddie, the mastermind, he's actually negotiated with the South African Rugby Union and said, look, as the defending champs, you guys have enormously high expectations on you. You actually want to lose your first game just to really temper expectations. And the Wallabies, we really need a boost. We really need to get this win to break the hoodoo, just make the World Cup more competitive. So, you know what I mean? Let's just negotiate a deal. I forget exactly how the pools play out in the Rugby World Cup as to when we could possibly play South Africa. I don't know if it's all the way in the final. I'm not sure. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie, he's figured it out, mate. You know what I mean? Just temper the expectations over there in South Africa.
There are a few injuries, I would say, as well. They got Khaleesi out with his meniscus injury, I think, for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even Tibet is listed as injured, and Andre Pollard as well. I'm not sure what they were like. Pollard a hammy or something?
Yes. Was Pollard ruled out of the World Cup as well?
I don't think so. No, I don't
No,
think
he's potential. I think he potentially was.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, look, if they do play a relative B team, like it's still going to be a good team. They have a lot of depth.
Of course, they will.
They're right up there with France, England, and New Zealand as the teams with the most depth in the world. So
yeah, I think the last pod we went through the announced squad, and we were amazed at how similar it is to the last World Cup, just in terms of the level of experience. And it's an older squad, you know what I mean? But just a hell of a lot of experience in that squad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they're, no matter what, they're a scary side. Look, I've got the rest of the draft squad out here that's been released. Again, we don't know if it's true or not. They've got Vermeulen at 8, Peter Steph du Toit at 7, which is obviously their blind side. Marco van Staden at 6 with Khaleesi injured. Snyman at 5. Jean Klein at 4. So making a debut for them. Franz Malherbe, Bongi Mbonambi, obviously suggesting that Malcolm Marx will be sent overseas, and Ox Nche with Marx being sent, Kitshoff being sent overseas as well. Still a very good side.
Yeah, right. Well, I was just looking up how old Vermeulen was. So. I was just looking up how old Vermeulen is. How old do you think Vermeulen is?
He's like 39. He's very old.
He's 37. I think he's either just about to turn 38 or he just turned. I think he's just about to turn 38. I was like, wow, he's another World Cup. Huge.
Yeah, he's not young.
No, I love Vermeulen though.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Very good.
Guys, so we know nothing about the teams and what the tactics are for this game. So let's just get a tip quickly. Australia versus South Africa by how many?
Nels, we'll let you go first, mate. You're always on the tips.
Mate, if you asked me without Eddie, I was going to say we lose by 30. With Eddie, I've bought the chockies. I'm eating one a night, and I'm getting more and more excited. A bit fatter too. The Wallabies are going to do history. I don't think they should, and I don't think this is a real fair bet. Don't listen to this if you're betting. But I'm going to say the Wallabies are going to win by 3.
Nice one. Yep, drinking the Kool-Aid, mate. Wallabies by 5.
Yeah, Wallabies by 7, I think.
Yeah, but boy.
Jeez.
How good. We'll listen back to this and enjoy this later.